Oh no, I'm in the shot. Ah!
It's okay. It's okay. Clap.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a successful motivational speaker and trusted life coach, Nancy knows how you can live the life you want regardless of the challenges you face. Although she's legally blind, Nancy's mission is to inspire others to overcome obstacles and live life full out. Call in at 800-333-0001 to ask Nancy for advice on topics such as relationships, finances, business, health, and more. Just call 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello and welcome to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about burdens. You know, all of us go through times in our life where we feel like we're a burden to another person, or we feel like life's challenges are burdening our ability to be free, to go after our dreams and our goals. If you're struggling with a burden in your life, or if you're feeling like you're a burden to those that you know and love, then today is the day that we want to give you the motivation to get past that feeling, get that negative self-talk out of your mind, and get you into action so you can truly be living your life full out. Also, we're going to have our inspirational guest on the show in the next segment, Herta Sanders. She's dealing with dementia. She's in the mid stages of a 7-stage progression, and she's going to share with us what it was like getting the original diagnosis, where her condition is today, and how she sees the outlook for her future. It's going to be a very powerful interview. You don't want to miss it. Also, we want to take your calls. The number again is 800-333-0001. This is the time for us to give you that empowerment that you need to grab hold of those goals in your life and not just put them aside and wish they could happen. This is the time that you tell those burdens, get out of my life. I'm worth it. I'm better than what I'm settling for at this time. So in fact, we're going to go right now to our callers. Are we our first caller? Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Thanks for having
thank you
me.
for calling in. Of course. How can I help you today?
All right, so I'm having trouble just staying motivated and productive, even when, like when I'm like struggling with daily stuff like just school and like not having friends to hang out with and stuff like that.
And let me ask you a quick question. Do you not have friends to hang out with because you're in a new place where you don't know people?
Yeah. I just started at a new school, and it's been definitely a little bit hard to make new friends and keep old ones.
Okay, you know what? I want to address two things with you today because I feel you, okay? I recently moved to a new location too, and I went through that same process. So first of all, just engage in as many things as you can. If you can join a gym or even through your school, if they have any free fitness classes or programs, just showing up You might meet one new person. Also, going out to eat. Don't just eat at home. I know it saves on the budget, but when you're out there and you're in front of people and around people, you never know who you're going to meet. Joining clubs is another good outlet. There's a website that I've used before called meetup.com. And if you go to meetup.com, they have activities of all different kinds. And when I say that, when I reference that site to you, those are a lot of times free events. You don't have to pay anything, and you can meet people. So there's ways in which you can engage and get out there. You're not alone. In fact, I feel bad for all the people that haven't met you yet. Think about the good friend that you're going to be to someone, and when you show up and go out to lunch, go to a meetup group or even attend a fitness class, think of that person that gets to meet you and how awesome that will be. Now, in reference to your other question in terms of staying motivated, what has always helped me is to close my eyes and to envision who I want to be, what I want to look like, what I want to be doing. Because it's really important to keep your dreams near and dear to your heart at all time. So for me, I will close my eyes and I will envision hosting the show. I will close my eyes and I'll envision myself 10 pounds lighter. Right? Everyone wants to be a 5 to 10 pounds lighter, right? You just want to dream big, okay? And during those days when you're feeling lonely, when you're overwhelmed, that dream inside you will keep you going. I promise. Have you done that?
I've tried, but I guess maybe this was a little push that I needed.
Well, and today, tonight, do it even when we hang up on the phone. I want you to go in, lay on your bed, close your eyes, maybe put on some music in the background, nothing distracting that you're going to sing to or anything, but just let yourself close your eyes and envision what you're shooting for. Because whenever we go to school, or we go to our jobs, or we work out at the gym, or we do anything, think about your intention, think about your goal, and keep striving for that. And let that, kind of like a magnet that keeps pulling you along. You're never going to go off your course because that magnet will keep pulling you to your dream. Okay?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, go out there and take that nap. Close your eyes. Dream big. And let us know how it goes. All right. Thank you so much for calling in.
Much.
Take care. Bye-bye. So, again, it's really a matter of just allowing ourselves to take a moment to be in the moment. And I think if she does that exercise, she's going to be able to tap into an emotion, a vision that will carry her through the hard days. Now, we're getting word from our producer that we have another caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hi, thank you for calling. How can we help you today? Hi.
Hi.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. Sorry about that. Just to put a little, I have a question, but just to put a little context behind my question,
Sure.
I just recently moved to university. I was going to community college, and I was living with my family, and I kind of had a routine going on, kind of like an efficient routine. I would go to work, go to school, and try to envision what it is I needed to do afterwards, the next step. And as a positive news, like I finally moved out, I have all this freedom, and now I'm kind of hit with all these distractions, and I sometimes kind of forget to snap myself back into the bigger picture. I guess, like, my question is, like, how can I move forward even with those distractions to keep myself still, to see that bigger picture?
Well, I'm going to give you a choice. Do you want the good news or the bad news first?
You know what? Let's take the bad news first.
All right, life is full of choices. Okay, here's the bad news. The bad news is life is always going to shake it up. Okay?
Yeah.
Just when you think you have life figured out, just when you have a routine in place, just when you've made the friends, you've got the career, it's going to shake it up. It's going to switch things around on you. And that is the journey of life. So you were kind of complacent. You were comfortable in your old surroundings. And then you moved out, which was a positive, but it kind of shook up your world. And now it's for you to troubleshoot, to figure out what does that next chapter look like? Now that's where the good news comes in, right? Because it is a new chapter. Consider yourself
Definitely.
as the author of your book, right? So you can design your story however you want it to go. So you don't have to do the same behaviors, the same habits you did before. You can write a new one. You don't have to hang out with the same people, attend the same restaurants, even do things the way you were before. You can do a whole new routine. It's exciting because it's on your terms, and some things are going to work and some things aren't. But again, you want to take this time to kind of feel life through. If life was all figured out and no day came with anything unexpected, anything new, that would be pretty boring, wouldn't it?
That's true.
Right? That would be
So
pretty
true.
boring.
That's so true.
But that's not what you're about. You're a go-getter. In fact, you define a lot of what it means to live full out. I love it when people shake it up, right? So you want to take that same vision you have for your life, that hunger to achieve your goals, and just go out there and create new habits that are going to support you. And I have no doubt you will land on your feet.
Awesome. That sounds great, actually. I definitely need to do that. That's true. Definitely having new habits.
Well, I believe in you, and the time is now to engage in those new habits. But I want to thank you for calling in.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And for everybody who's listening, when we come back, we're going to have our inspirational guest, Herta Sanders, on the show. You don't want to miss it. This is the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and we'll be right back.
Fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak. Let's make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
How about a taxi? 233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Chances are there'll never be an emergency ever again. But just in case, let's talk about a plan.
Okay.
Who is going to grab the go bag?
What's a go bag? It is a bag we do not have that is filled with things we really, really need in an emergency.
Guess we won't have to worry about it then.
Well, this is great. I am so glad that we don't have a plan.
I know.
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You take your 6-year-old to the playground. You watch her go down the slide, then run over to the swings. Another mother strikes up a conversation. You take your eye off your daughter for just a few seconds. You look back at the swings. And she's gone. Your heart drops into your stomach. You jump up, your eyes searching. You cry out her name.
Lily? Lily?
From the top of the slide, you hear a voice.
Mommy, watch me!
Every parent knows that feeling. Imagine if she were actually abducted. Go to wirelessamber-alerts.org. Sign up for free Amber Alerts on your cell phone. When an Amber Alert is issued in the areas you've chosen, you'll receive a free text message. If you spot the vehicle, the suspect, or the child described in the alert, call 911. Sign up today at wirelessamber-alerts.org. A child is calling for help. This message brought to you by the Wireless Foundation, the U.S. Department of Justice, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the Ad Council.
One day, I'll teach chemistry to kids.
I'm going to be an architect.
My dream is to be a chef.
At the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Federal Student Aid, we provide more than $150 billion each year in grants, loans, and work-study funds, making higher education possible for anyone at any stage of life.
I can go back to college.
I can change careers.
I can make a difference.
Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more about money for college at studentaid.gov.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. A professional motivational speaker, Nancy can help you overcome obstacles and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello, I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show, and today we're talking about burdens. There's so many in our life when we think about just the random flat tire that occurs and throws off our day, or when we're caregiving for another person and perhaps they feel as though they're a burden to us, or we feel as though we're not doing a good enough job. All that negative energy is one that we just have to take and throw out, right? Because it doesn't serve us in our ability to live full out, stay positive, achieve our goals in life. If we allow ourselves to feel the heaviness, the depression of being a burden, then we're not able to thrive. We're not able to attain those goals. So part of the reason why we do this show is to give you that motivation, is for you to feel as though you're not alone, because you're not. I want you to know that after this show, if you need resources, we always want you to reach out to us. You can email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Again, that's connect@livingfullout.com. Also, we want to hear from you if you have an inspirational story, one that you think would educate and inspire our community. Again, reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com and tell us your story. Let us know what it is that you went through, how you survived, so we can pass that along to our community. Now, our inspirational guest today, Herta Sanders, is no stranger to feeling like a burden, to dealing with the throes of life and all the things that could come at us. In fact, she was diagnosed with dementia just 6 years ago and has experienced memory loss before the diagnosis and all the way to today. And she'll share with us even her fears and concerns about tomorrow. So I'd like to welcome Herta to the show. Hello, welcome.
Thank you so much. I really am honored that you invited me to your show.
Oh, you know what? There is only one you in this world, and I mean that sincerely. Everybody, she is just... I just want to hug her every time I talk to her through the phone and today on the show. So you are a dear, and I appreciate you sharing your story with us, because dementia, Alzheimer's, they're kind of a mystery to so many of us, and it's scary to think that we forget things, and not just forget things, but that our memory is being lost. And so we are so much in gratitude today for you being courageous in sharing your story with us. Can you take our audience back to the early signs of when you started to know that something was off, something was different?
Nancy, I'm so sorry. I cannot hear you.
Oh, okay. What I was saying is, could you go back maybe 6 years ago and let us know what were some of the early signs that you started to know that something was different?
I think the first difficulties I noticed was at work. I was at the time working for the University of Utah in the Gender Studies program, and I was both teaching in the program and doing administrative things. And one day I was in a meeting. It was a Women's Week committee that I chaired, and I had made an elaborate agenda. And then when I was in the meeting, at some point, my head just went somewhere else. It didn't feel to me like I was just not taking notice, but suddenly I almost didn't know where I was. And then when I sort of came back, there was somebody speaking, and as soon as he's finished, I did not know what we were talking about and where we were in the agenda. And so I just looked at my paper, and my eye fell on introductions. And then I just said, why don't we introduce ourselves? And the minute that came out of my mouth, I then remembered that I had already asked people to introduce themselves. And people there noticed. So they were very kind about it, but the very fact that they were trying to be comforting to me made me aware that this was something that was clearly noticeable to everybody.
Yeah, and it's great that you had the support of your colleagues at that time and that they were good to you, nobody knowing what was to come in terms of your diagnosis. Did your family also see signs along the way?
I'm so sorry. The hearing is, I cannot hear your voice. It just fades away at times. I apologize.
Okay, that is okay. Were there signs along the way where your family started to notice differences also?
Oh, yes. It was another occasion where our whole family, my 2 children and their spouses and our grandchildren were here. And I believe it was Easter morning, and they'd come for breakfast. And the night before, I'd made a casserole because I'd noticed that things just take me longer and longer to make. So I made the casserole, looked up a recipe, the Amish casserole, and put it all together the night before. And in the morning, I set the table and sort of had everything ready. And when we all sat down at the table, I realized I had not baked the casserole. It's supposed to bake for an hour. And it had just not entered my mind. And then I was very upset. It wasn't like a tantrum or anything, but I just sat down on a chair and I cried. And my family could see I was very upset, and they knew already by then that I told them about my memory loss. And it's as if that moment served in our family as a clear sign that this was not a senior moment.
You know, Herta, I feel you on that. And having been going through becoming legally blind, I had those scary moments as well. Ones where I started to see my eyesight go away, and I could see, in your stories, your memory was starting to go away. So I'm with you in that struggle. And it's really important that everybody listening today, that this could be any of us. And again, Herta, you are so courageous in your ability to share this story. What I want to focus on, because I know we're going to be coming into a commercial break here, when we come back, I'm going to want you to tell us about the day that you were diagnosed and kind of some of the plans that you had to make for yourself going into the future. So will you stay with us into that next segment?
Certainly, I would love to. Thank you.
Perfect. And so everybody, when we come back, we're going to be joined again by Herta Sanders. And just think about dementia and just how scary that is to be losing one's memory. But you can stand up during even the most scariest of times and claim your life back. And Herta's story, while it may have sad and tender moments, she thrived, and she's living full out today. So we can't wait to hear the rest of her story. This is the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and we'll be right back after this break.
listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. I help people solve difficult and trying personal problems every day on my TV show, but there's one problem that's just got me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. That's 1 in 5 kids who may not know where their next meal is coming from, despite the fact that there's more than enough healthy, nutritious food out there to feed them all. Now, I don't know about you, but that is unacceptable to me. Luckily, the Feeding America network of good people is out there collecting surplus food and giving hope to hungry children and their families at local food banks all across the country. But let's face it, they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
I want to change some things. I want the moms where I live to have childcare they can trust.
I want to make sure my little brother and his friends have a safe place to play.
I want to help more kids graduate from high school.
Help more hardworking families learn how to budget and save.
I want more of my neighbors to have access to health care.
Want to make a difference? There are so many ways you can. Help create opportunities for everyone in your community.
I want to change what I see around here.
United Way is creating real, lasting change where you live by focusing on the building blocks of a better life: education, income, and health.
I mean, I just want to see more smiles on my sidewalks.
Reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. For more, visit United Way at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Have you ever lost a cat? And have you ever wanted to get your cat back after you lost it? I'm Andrew Hoffman. I invented the Lost Cat Magnet. Just turn it on and lost cats stick to it. Just listen to one satisfied cat. That's proof. You should invent stuff too. But remember, don't do a Lost Cat Magnet.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your own inventions or just play some games at inventnow.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the National Inventors Hall of Fame Foundation, and the Ad Council.
It is with sound mind and body that I, James Fredericks III, after fighting with all direct family members for decades, leave my entire fortune of $32 million to the one friend I had in the end, the package delivery guy, Matt Songer.
Woohoo! Yeah! I had a feeling about this. I'm rich! Oh, this cannot be happening.
Actually, it's not happening.
What?
And it never will.
I don't get it.
There aren't even people here. That's just one of those murmuring sound effects.
Seriously?
Listen, if you want to have money in your future, don't rely on luck. Put $10 away each month. Cook once in a while instead of eating out.
Okay.
Pay down your high-interest credit cards.
Right.
Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow.
So, no inheritance?
No. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
And just to be clear, no inheritance, right?
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the show. I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about burdens and how in times in life we just feel sad. We feel hopeless. We're concerned. And that's because we fear sometimes that we're a burden to other people. And our inspirational guest today, Herta Sanders, she could have felt that way. And perhaps there have been times that she has felt that way for her family. But she stood up and said, you know what, dementia is not going to get the best of my life. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to live my life full out. And she chose to do that. And we all have that ability to override those burdens in our life and choose a better path, to choose to stay positive rather than letting negative thoughts, flitter into our mind and overcome us. So I'd like to welcome Herta back to the show. Hello, welcome back.
Thank you, Nancy. Good to hear your voice.
You're welcome.
Again.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. So I want to go back to 6 years ago, just before your 61st birthday. That's when you were diagnosed with dementia. But share with us, when you heard those words, what did that mean to you?
It was both a moment of shock, but shock that almost immediately turned to comfort. And that it may sound strange, but if you know something is wrong with you, and for me it was my children partly, they observed it, but when a medical person told me that I had not been imagining these odd things in my life, I'm looking for the word, it reinforced my belief that I still had enough rational sense left that I was not just making this up. And the feeling that my judgment has not been wrong in that was what led to the relief part of the naming of the diagnosis.
That makes sense. And in fact, I remember when I got my RP diagnosis, I had a similar feeling. It was scary, but at least I knew what was happening and I could take action in whatever way possible. Now, can you teach us a little bit here with dementia? What are the different stages? And what stage are you in currently, now 6 years later after your diagnosis?
There is a scale to measure the stages of dementia, whether it's caused by Alzheimer's or, in my case, it's called by microvascular disease. And the scale starts with number 1, which is kind of just the awareness. I think stage 1 for me was when I was becoming aware of things at work and at home, but it was not really, it was not to a point that I thought I have to know what this is. I could still manage. And then at the stage of the diagnosis, I think I was between maybe stage 2 and 3. And stage 2 is also, it's as if your symptoms just got a little bit worse and you just are having a harder time than you have to use more workarounds to do what you were before. And so it goes on. But stage 3 is really the first time that a doctor will tell you are now in a stage that has the word dementia in its name. So I believe that after my last neuropsychological test, my psychology and doctors agreed that I was probably in the beginning of stage 4, because that is when you need considerable help. For example, I cannot do my budget without my husband, which is very sad because now he knows every penny I spend. But certain things like that. Also, at about the time, shortly after I was diagnosed, I just realized I could not drive anymore. I was a danger on the road. So I voluntarily gave up my driver's license. And that is a stage where you just need help with driving. I need help just when we leave somewhere and we go out the door. I need my husband just to help me see that I've got everything on clothes-wise, sort of in the right order on my body. And sometimes these are not just little things like maybe I forgot the earrings, but that I'm wearing my slippers or something. So it's just that you can't quite get through your day without needing help, and that's sort of where I am.
And when you look into the future, obviously there's 5, 6, and 7 to come. How do you grapple with, how do you try to stay positive amongst knowing what is coming?
For me, it was a decision in our family that comes from a long way away when just the way we brought up our children was really to face truth, not to try to, and also not to be afraid to speak to each other about an uncomfortable truth in our family. So we were able to speak about it, and together with our children, we were able to plan for the future. And Peter has always been incredibly good with organizing our family finances. So he knew, he knew what everything was. But we then just used we actually found a financial consultant and our tax lady, and with all those people together, we planned financially for my future for a time when I would need more help than the family can provide. And we were fortunate in that by living very modestly in our retirement, we were able to put enough money away that I have peace of mind that we could have help in the house at some stage. But the most important thing for me was that I really don't want to reach stage 6 or 7 where the person with dementia is not really aware of the surroundings. They don't know who the people are who visit them. They may recognize them as family, but you might think that your granddaughter is your daughter, and you weave in and out of time frames. Now, that in itself to me is not, that you can still have a worthwhile life when you can do that. But when you can no longer interact with people, or when it takes my husband 2 hours to get me dressed, I do not want to reach that stage, and so therefore we have planned for an assisted suicide.
Okay. And when you think about the time that you have left before you would reach stage 6 or 7, what do you want to do with that time?
I want to live just honestly and with integrity every day of my life, and my priority is my family and friends, to spend as much of the time I have that's still good time, to spend with them and enjoy family events with them, and just enjoy every day with my husband, Peter. And we take time out every day. We have every meal together, usually, and we just sit and talk. And at night we usually watch a video or something on TV, but we sit there and we hold hands and we sit on our lazy boy couch, and we just enjoy being together and being in each other's company. That is what I want to do with everyone I love. When I'm in their company, I want to be able to be fully there as much as I can.
I love that. I love that. And, when I think about when I got my diagnosis and having RP and becoming legally blind, I realized for me that it changed the way that I saw the world. It actually even changed the way that I saw people, because I don't see people visually. I see them through their personality and their spirit. How has having dementia changed you as a person?
I feel that my lack of memory, and my memory loss comes out much more in when I interact with objects in the world, when I'm trying to brush my teeth or make coffee or anything like that. So daily, I have many, many times, I won't even call them moments because they're longer than moments, but I have periods of intense frustration, which also leads to anxiety. And microvascular disease is particularly prone to anxiety, whereas Alzheimer's apparently is not so much. So I have the anxiety wherever it comes from, but it's triggered by just not being able to do the right thing. to just do everything I do. I have to try 3 or 4 or 5 times before I can follow all the steps through without getting sidetracked. So that is something that is definitely a negative. But a positive is also that I find it easier just to sit in a room and just be in that moment. I don't feel... I used to never be able to be without a book or doing something useful. And now there are times when I can just sit down and just be. And that to me is a gift that I appreciate.
You know what, Herta? That is a huge gift. And for me, I learned how to be patient. You can be, and I can be patient. We're a team. You know what? I want to thank you very much for being on today's show, because you have just given us so many lessons. I encourage everybody to go back and listen to this interview again, because we never know when we're going to be in your position, your spot. And I love that you've thought so much through. And again, that this diagnosis, this experience that you've gone through has allowed you to just be in life, and you can't ask for more than that. So thank you so much for being on our show today, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Nancy, and you are an inspiration for me and for everyone else. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, okay? Thank you
so much.
And when we come back, we're going to be taking more of your calls. We want to keep you motivated, help you to live life full out. We'll be right back. This is Nancy Solari and the Living Full Out Show. Stay tuned.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever. So take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Medical mistakes claim tens of thousands of lives every year. The healthcare community is working on it, but you can help. When you communicate with your doctor, when you ask more questions, you reduce your risk of suffering a medical mistake. Doctors can't answer if you don't ask. Help reduce your risk. Questions are the answer. Learn the 10 questions you must ask. Visit www.ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
I'm getting a catcher's mitt.
I'm getting ice skates. I'm getting a devastating flood.
Adults are generous. We're even giving kids global warming, but we can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution. Go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
It is with sound mind and body that I, James Fredericks III, after fighting with all direct family members for decades, leave my entire fortune of $32 million to the one friend I had in the end, the package delivery guy, Matt Songer.
Woohoo! Yeah! I had a feeling about this. I'm rich! Oh, this cannot be happening.
Actually, it's not happening.
What?
And it never will.
I don't get it.
There aren't even people here. That's just one of those murmuring sound effects.
Seriously?
Listen, if you want to have money in your future, don't rely on luck. Put $10 away each month. Cook once in a while instead of eating out.
Okay.
Pay down your high-interest credit cards.
Right.
Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow.
So, no inheritance?
No. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
And just to be clear, no inheritance, right?
Dimes are shiny and round. Nickels are also round.
This 28-year-old woman may sound a little strange to you and me, but to her 3-year-old daughter, she makes perfect sense.
Pennies are round too. too.
They are.
When you talk with your child, you build vocabulary, and learning starts long before school does. So follow their lead. Take everyday moments like an errand at the bank and turn them into learning moments.
Dollars are rectangles.
I like dollars.
Turn everyday moments into learning moments. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Dog Show. Up next, we have Satchmo. Satchmo is a member of the Shelter Pet Group.
That's right, a group known especially for their couch-snuggling, ball-chasing, face-licking, tail-wagging, backyard-hanging, and, of course, companionship.
And what breed would you say Satchmo is?
I'd have to go with maybe a lavish terrier-hound chihuahua-looking kind of mix.
Tremendous dog.
I'd also like to point out Satchmo's coloring, a white, gray, brown, black brindle, simply marvelous.
You know, it's such a treat to watch a dog like this.
Now, let's see him in action.
Look how he makes eye contact with his person.
That's actually known as the treat stare.
How intuitive. And now he appears to be excitedly turning in circles.
Ah, the happy dance, so common with this group.
And finally, the loving face lick.
It's great how he just gets in there and, well, licks.
Fantastic. But really, the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Satchmo is to meet one.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Feel as though you're putting pressure on others in your family or friends. Know that you have the ability to stand up and not settle for letting those burdens control your life. It all starts with having a positive attitude, knowing that your life is worth it, that it's waiting for you to grab hold of it, and just cast those burdens aside. They have no place in your life as you start to live full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a certified life coach, Nancy can help you to overcome challenges and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you again for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And we've been talking about burdens in our life, or at times when we feel as though we're a burden to someone else. And I'm hoping that during this show you've identified a place in your life where you might have that feeling. And that over the course of our callers calling in, our inspirational guests, that you've been able to take away a few lessons to give you that motivation to not settle for being a burden, but standing up and grabbing hold of what you want in life. Together we can take those heavy chips on our shoulder and just toss them away and feel lighter. And it's not just words. We can actually do that. You have to believe in yourself and what you're striving for. Now, we're going to go back to the phone lines and talk to one of our callers. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for calling in. How can we help you today?
So my question is that I've been married for about a year now, and my husband's ready to have kids, but I'm a little scared to have kids. I have a very demanding job, and I'm afraid that because of the demands of the job, I won't have time to spend with the baby or bond with the baby. What can I do to make these fears go away?
You know what? You ask a great question. I'm curious. In your job, do you have others at the same level of you that have children?
Yes, I have other coworkers that have children. And when I talk to them, they say that it's hard.
Okay, it's hard. Now, other than it being hard, have they given you any remedies for how they navigate those waters, how they do it?
They've told me, that you have to work as a team, with your husband, and you have to share the responsibilities because one person can't do everything. And then they also have, family that helps.
Okay. And that depends on whether or not you have or do not have that same family ability. But what is it that... Well, actually, I'm going to switch the question. Do you even want children one day?
I do. I'm not sure when the best time would be to have kids.
Mm-hmm. Is it possible that there is never a good time?
Yeah, a lot of the people that I've talked to about having kids, they say, you can't plan for it. but I don't know. I get nervous about not having enough time to be with the baby.
Have the nervousness that you feel right now, have you ever been nervous about anything in your life before?
Well, I think when I was going to school, that made me a little bit nervous because of the stressors of having to, do all the things I needed to do to get my career going. So. And did you worry about getting a job after school? What that would look like? Yeah, because I knew what I wanted to do, and I just didn't know where I would fit in as far as like the work field was, and I just thought it was a little stressful.
So you went from being nervous about school and the demands and what kind of job you would have and would there be a place in that career for you, but then you did find a job, right? You did graduate. So what I want you to realize is these feelings that you're having right now, the nervousness about having children or building your family, you've been here before. So it's important that in life we always look back at our past, because when we're at a crossroad in life, chances are we've been there before. And you want to look at what got you through that pressure back when. What helped you source through in your body how you felt and what you needed to do in your life to make changes. If you kind of ponder that and maybe journal about it and remember back and you apply those same life skills that you used to get through those times to now, I think you're going to find that it isn't about building your family today or even next month. But if you apply those same skills to building that family, I think you'll be fine. And staying in communication with your husband and just kind of putting together a plan. But it doesn't have to be a pressure. It should be something exciting. But the only way to get from anxious, feeling pressured, to exciting is to think it through, journal about it, communicate. That's all you can do. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, thank you. That's really helpful.
You're very welcome. Well, have a wonderful day, and thank you for calling in.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So I want to thank everybody who listened to today's show. Our entire team is dedicated each week to, again, giving you the inspiration and the tools that you need to take action in your life. I want to say a special thank you to Rich and to Roger and Kenny and Chris and everybody who has put their 2 cents in, their talents, their time, their energy into being here with you today. And most of all, I want to thank you, the listeners, for being with us. And we very much hope that you were inspired by today's program. And again, if you have questions, please do reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. We'd love to be here to help you out. And we want to hear from you. If you have an inspirational story, again, connect@livingfullout.com is the way to tell us about that story. Also, you can go back and listen to this show and all of our episodes by going to livingfullout.com. We look forward to seeing you next week, and also reach out to us through social media. We share a lot of motivational videos and helpful, useful tips through Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We'll look forward to talking to you next week. Have a great day.